I'm rebuilding this 1948-ish wringer washer, and in the transmission there's a sheet metal plate that covers the gearbox, and these are felt oil control rings. It's two pieces of metal with a sandwich of felt. Now, this one was good, and over here at the agitator, this one was missing. It was just the top ring and the bottom ring. The felt had disappeared, and the company doesn't even exist anymore. This is before they became Speed Queen, and I had no idea like how to even begin sourcing a felt oil control ring, so I had to cut my own. Now I just made I'm making this video because it's a cool little trick that I found out for how to cut this felt. So what I did is I took these rings off and figured out the size of the outer and inner diameters. And over here is a piece of sample felt, an industrial sample that I ordered from a felt supplier that I found on the internet, and asked them for requested a sample, and they sent this big piece, that's all I needed from it. And they also sent a folder of all their other samples, and actually all the little tickets in the folder were all big enough to do it. So if this felt doesn't work, I have about 16 other squares, swatches of felt that I could cut one out of and try it. But anyway, I needed to stamp this felt, and what I ended up doing was taking this hole saw and cutting a circle of wood, and then I took the plug, which happened to be the size that I needed to cut my felt. I took a piece of sheet metal and I just wrapped it around the plug and squeezed it as tight as I could, formed it, with a pliers and stuff, because it's you can't just bend it with your fingers and get a good shape. So it's like 20 gauge. And this is actually just a clamp from a washer hose that's kind of holding it on there a little bit. And then I took an angle grinder, the flap disc, and I just sharpened it by hand until it was sharp enough to do the next step. And then what I did is I took this felt and I put it onto a piece of plywood like this, and then took this cookie cutter, and notice I have a gap, so what I had to do is kind of get it to the edge so that that's not going to matter as much. And then I placed it in a vise like this, and just cranked it tight. Wood cracking means it's probably through. Okay. I noticed it just shifted on me here. The first time I used this metal slug as a backer to keep this square on the back side. But this will work. So, it forced its way through. And not bad for one-handed. This is the outside diameter, which really doesn't matter as much as getting the inside diameter correct. And what I did for that is I found this piece of copper pipe was the perfect diameter for it. And I took it over on the drill press and I chamfered or reamed the inside with this step bit until it was sharp. That's how I sharpened it. I guess you could use a file or whatever too, but I was impatient. And then I did the same thing, except this time what I did is I took this ring and I placed it over the top on my board and that was kind of as a centering deal. And then I squeezed it in the vise again, and it popped a perfect hole in it. Was able to get my felt ring that now seals against the shaft. So I just thought I'd share that with you guys. If you have to punch your own felt oil control ring or washer, a little ingenuity and a bench vise and some sheet metal, no machining really required there, just redneck ingenuity. Thanks for watching.